Presidential promise to put the law before a family.
I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers.
Was asked directly, and he has said he wouldn't pardon his son if he gets convicted.
Let's wait and see what happens if he loses.
Yeah, but he said it.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Major commitment from the president, accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging not to pardon his son.
So the challenge for him is really to continue to live up to his values when it was really personal, and he did that today.
It seems like a pretty normal, straightforward answer, but it takes new weight when we see what Trump is saying about the outcome of his trial, what we're hearing from other Republicans who say they don't accept the jury's verdict here in New York.
The contrast is profound. To sit there and say, well, I'm not going to intervene in the legal process, and I wouldn't pardon my son. One side, Democrats and Joe Biden protecting the justice system. And on the other, Republicans and Trump protecting Trump.
Well, Joe Biden, as he stares his White House and political exit in the face, just made the completely predictable decision to, of course, pardon his crooked criminal son, no good son, Hunter. Welcome back, folks. Happy Monday. This decision for old Joe has loomed for quite a while over the White House, for months, actually. We all saw it coming, though. Yet it's almost unfathomable to think that a sitting American president can completely erase a decade plus, 11 years, folks, 11 years of crime simply because the criminal is his very own son. There's so much to discuss here. Let's get right into rapid reactions. You know, I'm probably not the only person who saw this coming, and yet somehow I'm absolutely disgusted by the complete abuse of power. But before we get into that, let's first dive into what old Joe just did. For those of you who may not know, this is Hunter Biden, a crack-smoking, money-laundering, Congress-ditching dirtball, an absolute menace to society who relied on daddy to carry him through adulthood, if you call it that. Hunter Biden was an American disgrace, a textbook degenerate. Yet, for whatever reason, he's worth more than you or I, certainly in front of the law. Joe Biden campaigned on restoring the independence of the Judicial Department, the DOJ. He tirelessly painted Trump as the villain who brought politics into the rule of law. Remember that during his first term? Folks, Biden used this completely insincere rhetoric to get elected, plain and simple. Biden also spent the better part of his presidency defending his son from public scrutiny after all that laptop information came out. Unfortunately for Hunter, he spent the majority of his adult life committing crimes. There was only so much that daddy could do. Joe desperately and repeatedly told the American people that he would not pardon Hunter under any circumstances. Nobody is above the law, Joe said over and over and over again. In fact, his decision to hold his son accountable might have been the only thing he did right as president up until the very end. Of course, that now is all out the window. We're 2 days into the month of December. Hunter was set to be sentenced 10 days from today for his crimes, his conviction on federal gun charges. 4 days later, a second Hunter Biden sentencing was on the calendar, this one for a separate criminal case that saw Hunter Biden plead guilty to federal tax evasion charges in September. Old Joe took the law into his own hands yet again. The official statement reads, and I quote, "The president issued a full and unconditional pardon for any offenses Hunter Biden has committed or may have committed." That's big. Even stuff we don't even know about or taken part in during the period from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024, full 11 years. Well, good luck defending this one, Democrats. There are so many instances of the White House absolutely insisting that Hunter Biden would be treated like any other offender in America. Every single person who took part in lying to the American people should be held accountable. Joe Biden's puppet Karine Jean-Pierre, played a major role in this big hoax, the great hoax. In case you forgot, here's a few examples, just a few tiny examples of how she, KJP, answered on behalf of the president when asked if Hunter would be pardoned.
The president would not pardon or commute the sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Okay. Let me go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Yeah, I could have made that montage of clips 10 minutes long or longer, but you get the point. I think you get the point. In a different life, Joe Biden made a name for himself as a hard-working senator, hard-on-drugs senator, someone who had zero tolerance for illegal immigration and illegal substances and wanted a minimum of 5 years jail time for any offender, drug offender. Let's remind ourselves about Joe's prior stances. And while you listen, enjoy the added clip of his son, Hunter, smoking crack.
If you have a piece of crack cocaine no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, 1/4 of $1. We passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice.
So we just did a little side-by-side, you can see, because Joe at one point was very, very hard on drug offenders. Go to jail. You go to 5 years in jail, a bill that he sponsored, side-by-side to pictures of Hunter Biden from his laptop smoking crack. It's incredible. You can rule out AI, folks. Hunter Biden has been smoking crack since the days of flip phones. What's even more sad about this whole situation is that Hunter Biden's life of crime goes far beyond the charges that he's now being cleared of. Well, cleared of or commuted of, not commuted. When you commute a sentence, they remain the criminal, you just commute their jail time. That's what happened with Roger Stone. And then there's pardoning. When you pardon someone, you basically make them never having been charged and convicted before. You pardoned of all charges. We all know the FBI and the DOJ did their part in hiding the true contents of Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. We all know about the Biden family money laundering. We all know, and Hunter, time and time and time, the money he made from Burisma. We know that a mysterious bag of coke showed up at the White House for the first time in the history, 248 years of the White House. Of course, nobody knows how it got there, but maybe, I don't know, drug fiend Hunter Biden? I don't know. Maybe he was a regular visitor of the White House. He was quick to wipe his hands clean. We know about the child porn allegations that are honestly too sinister to dive into. The list goes on and on. Tucker Carlson saw that laptop, saw the contents of that laptop, and he can't even talk about it on air, on television. Of course, there are crickets coming from across the aisle, the left side of the aisle right now. Notice how there weren't any of those tone-deaf rants from the corrupt corporate media about this one, huh? Well, maybe they will. Maybe they'll start to trickle out throughout the day. After all, these are the same people who passionately helped paint this president as some sort of moral overlord, Biden, simply for promising that he would not do exactly what he did to Trump and exactly what he just did.
What is before us is a president who is living the rule of law. He is living it in in the most personal way. He is not pardoning his son. Which he could do. These are federal charges. Right. He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country.
These clowns, they do know that the internet lives forever, right? Like those two idiots, Nicole Waltz and whoever that guy was, who said, no, he's not pardoning, except he did. The illiterate TikTokers who shaved their heads because Donald Trump won, remember them? They had nothing to say about this. Even Biden himself had no further comments when asked about this legacy-shattering decision. Little Joe, there he is, off to Africa, spending more of our tax dollars to take yet another excursion. Speaking of our tax dollars, plenty of them were used to finally convict Hunter Biden. Millions upon millions. Just another instance of this administration showing absolutely no regard for what they do with our money. This decision by Joe Biden is truly indefensible. I have a message for both Joe and Hunter Biden. Mr. President, you're an absolute disgrace to the red, white, and blue. I know that you're a lame duck president right now for another month or so, but that doesn't permit you to take the rule of law into your own hands. Your son is a lifelong thug, and you know this decision is completely eliminating any good that you may have done during your lifetime in politics. The American people will remember you for plenty of things, none more than this. And oh, by the way, Hunter, your dad's pardon just wiped away 10 years of crime, 11 actually. But take this warning very seriously. If you even think about breaking the law under Donald Trump, you will face the wrath of a Justice Department that Daddy doesn't control anymore. It won't be the same DOJ that tried to end Trump's political career. It will be a unit that stands for justice and hands criminals exactly what they deserve. Should I tell you? His name is Kash Patel, and he's the new director of the FBI, which is the investigative wing of the Department of Justice for U.S. citizens. The FBI, headed up by Kash Patel, who's going to take no shit. So, you know what, Hunter? You've been pardoned. You got your 11 years of crime spree under you. If you go back, my friend, you can't pardon in advance. That's what you can't do as a president. So enjoy your freedom now, my friend, but toss and turn at night knowing you did absolutely nothing to deserve it. I do believe that this will also extend to Joe Biden's brother, Jim. I believe Joe will extend a pardon to Jim before he leaves office. And we saw it coming, folks, as gross as it is that he said it leading up to the election. He didn't think he was going to lose that election. I'm not going to pardon Hunter. I'm not. No one's above the law. He said over and over, thinking he was going to win that election. When the Democrats tossed Joe out, all bets were off. Joe said, go screw yourself. I'm pardoning everybody. So expect himself to get a pardon for anything he may or may not have done. Expect Jim to get one. Expect Jill to get one for that matter. It's the way politics is. A politician lied to you. Shocker. All right, in 2021, we've been talking about how great this company, Goya, has been for the American people, for Hispanics in America, and basically for all patriots. Goya launched Goya Cares, a global initiative to protect children and educate them on mental health. Goya Cares is providing schools and community centers with a preventative education curriculum and a free assembly that includes the viewing of the Goya Cares movie called Press Pause. Press Pause is intended to raise awareness regarding mental health issues, abuse, and bullying among children, teens, and others in our communities. Press Pause is an educational film following 15-year-old Sofia Rodriguez as she navigates adolescence, self-doubt, and an abusive relationship among her parents' turbulent divorce set within the cultural context of her Hispanic family. The film explores her discomfort with unwanted attention from her uncle and the pressures of maintaining a facade of perfection in high school. It introduces the Press Pause campaign promoting kindness and advocacy, highlighted by Sophia leaving a note saying, "You matter," for a bullied peer. The film encourages open family communication about mental health and culminates in Sophia's transformative realization of her right to seek help through the power of empathy and small acts of kindness. Press Pause displays the importance of being proactive in supporting one's community and underscores the critical importance of self-advocacy. Great job, folks at Goya. They spend a lot of money on those campaigns, folks. They spend a lot of money, and they do right by the American people. All right, time for today's Truth Bomb. All right, Truth Bomb, folks, here, uncensored, always truthful. File this one under too freaking crazy to be true, but it actually is true. So it turns out that the sanctuary city of Gotham, also known as New York City, paid a whopping $220 million to rent one hotel. The Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan used to be an upscale luxury hotel, but now they rented the whole Roosevelt Hotel to house illegal immigrants. That's right, invaders just got the cushiest of hotel rooms. for a year. Wow. Here's the kicker, though. Who owns the Roosevelt Hotel? Well, it's the government of Pakistan. And the deal, that $22 million deal, was part of a $1.1 billion IMF bailout package, International Monetary Fund bailout package, to help Pakistan avoid defaulting on their international debts. So we, American people, are paying Pakistan to help them not default on their debts by renting a hotel that they own in New York City to house illegal migrants breaking law to get here, to the tune of $220 million for one hotel for a year. And by the way, folks, the numbers were here's the number, $186 billion so far, $186 billion since 2023. So what, less than 2 years? $186 billion has been paid by us, by Americans, through the federal or state or local taxes to house and take care of this illegal immigration problem that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden created. But what a creative way, what they did with Pakistan, to get your hotel renovated, right, Pakistan? Oh, and once again, putting foreign needs above the needs of our very own citizens with our own money. But Vivek Ramaswamy hit the nail on the head, taking to X to write, and I quote, a taxpayer-funded hotel for illegal migrants is owned by the Pakistani government, which means New York City taxpayers and federal taxpayers, by the way, are effectively paying a foreign government to house illegals in our own country. Vivek says, this is nuts. He's right. Truth to that. And so we've been talking about it all morning. Hunter Biden has been pardoned, and the big guys tries to cover his tracks too. You see, this only adds to the reasons why these Trump nominations are so very important right now. And one of the president's, Donald Trump's, latest nominations is monumentally, exponentially more important now. Because remember, Anthony Fauci, Alejandro Mayorkas, Merrick Garland, Christopher Wray, Anthony Blinken, Lloyd Austin, the entire January 6th committee, every member of the media who dutifully spread lies that led to election interference, well, it's reckoning time for them. And a guy named Kash Patel. Kash Patel is the very, very busy man at the very right time. Donald Trump has chosen Kash Patel to be the FBI director, moving to force out Christopher Wray before the end of his 10-year term. Wray was always a rhino, establishment rhino, never liked Trump. So who's Kash Patel, you may ask? Well, simply put, he's a fierce Trump loyalist. That's great, yes. But it's what Kash has promised to do that has the deep state literally in a panic right now, the FBI, upending the nation's law enforcement agency. Listen.
I believe, as like the guy who is an intel guy who believes wholeheartedly in the classified system of information, I believe that it has been over-abused by these corrupt officials in government to hide the truth and enact more corrupt activities. So what I told the boss was like, I don't care what you call it, truth and reconciliation, whatever, come up with a better name. But every agency and department literally submits all of their documentation, and I believe you could get half out.
That's just a start. That is just a start. He says half of classified information out for the public consumption. That would be great, Epstein, right? That list. The deep state is quivering. It's new rules time, folks. Let's get into it. But before we do, what was that cabinet that was too white? Remember that?
When you put up all those faces, it was 1,000 shades of white. Have you noticed that? Remember,
I actually thought as I was reading them, we should certainly circle a few of them so that we can say this is the one I'm talking about now.
Yes, exactly. So here we have a little bit more diversity in the slide that you're showing. But the first one, which was the major characters, yes, it's 1,000 shades of white.
They never learn. They never learn, do they? Race this, race that, race, white people, white liberals, white liberal women crying race, racism, race, and more race. When you look at President-elect Donald Trump's appointees, two things become very clear. Number one, many of his elections could face uphill confirmations, fights next year in the Senate. We'll get to that in a second. I'm sure they're all going to get through, but they have to fight. These senators have no cojones. They can't say, we're going to push them through. They have to go back and say, oh, we're going to fight Kash, or we're going to fight Pete Hegseth. But they're not. They're going to breeze right through. And number two, there's a red thread weaving through them all, a singular game plan, the total and complete eradication of the deep state. Trump said it. He said he was going to do it, and now he's doing it. Pay close attention to the reactions by the leftist machine and its propaganda machine, because they don't want any part of this. But listen.
Is there enough backbone there, do you think, to defeat multiple nominees?
I don't know. I think it's possible. And look, we saw it with Matt Gaetz already, and I think that I was actually surprised how quickly that happened. To me, Kash Patel, and I don't say this lightly, is the most dangerous nominee that we've seen yet to our democracy.
Oh, that old thing. Remember that Trump was going to be a threat to democracy? Now Kash Patel, a danger to democracy. You're not tired of that bullshit and wildly ineffective lying? Yet we see. But also pay close attention to who has a problem with it, because that tells you everything you need to know. Listen.
It's a terrible development for the men and women of the FBI, and also for the nation that depends on a highly functioning, professional, independent Federal Bureau of Investigation. The fact that Kash Patel is profoundly unqualified for this job is not even like a matter for debate. The installation, or the nomination, I guess we should say at this point, of Kash Patel as FBI director can only possibly be a plan to disrupt, to dismantle, to distract the FBI, and to possibly use it as a tool for the president's political agenda.
So Andrew McCabe knows not what he speaks of. I mean, let's take a look for just Mayor Pete Buttigieg was the transportation secretary. He had absolutely no experience in transportation whatsoever. And let's think about Jennifer Granholm. Jennifer Granholm is the Secretary of Energy. Granholm has 0.0 experience in energy. She was a governor of Michigan with absolutely no energy experience whatsoever. Biden made her Secretary of Energy. They didn't say, I don't hear these people complaining about experience then. Come on, Andrew McCabe. By the way, he was fired from the FBI for lying to investigators under oath and for leaking information to the media, is now telling us that Kash Patel is incapable of being the FBI director. What a joke that is. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy want to delete at least 70% of our fat-ass government over waste and overspending. RFK Jr. in charge of the COVID reckoning and taking a wrecking ball to our corrupt food and pharma industries, filling their coffers with our tax dollars. Then there's Tulsi Gabbard, finding herself unfairly and unjustly a target of the intelligence community, now in charge of our intelligence community. I love that. Tom Homan shutting down the border. He means business, bringing back our national sovereignty, and deporting illegals. Even when they said he can't, he said, try me, you'll go to jail, Denver mayor. And now enter Kash Patel to strip, expose, and gut the political agency known as the FBI. Never used to be. In the last 8 years, maybe under Obama, started 12 years ago. It became 16 years ago, maybe. FBI became political. Kash Patel has said he would fire senior FBI leaders and prosecute agents he thinks abused their authority as part of a far-ranging and far-reaching plan to shrink its size and power. In a post on social media on Saturday evening, Trump said, it was on Truth Social, that Patel, quote, spent his career exposing corruption, defending justice, and protecting the American people, and that he will bring back fidelity, bravery, and integrity to the FBI. I mean, what else do you want, right? That's exactly what you want. If Trump thinks it's going to happen and Patel can do it, Patel's going to do it. In his book, Kash's Government Gangsters, Kash wrote, quote, the agents and lawyers who think they can hide in the shadows while abusing their positions will be put on immediate notice. He's done that. Deep State, they're triggered. They're triggered. Its henchmen are on high alert. Here's how you know. Deep Stater himself, John Bolton, the former ambassador to the UN, the guy who never met a war he didn't love to participate in and get us involved in, compared Kash Patel to a Soviet Secret Service leader and demanded the Senate reject him, which only means the pick is that much more crucial to the demolition of the deep state. John Bolton compared Patel to Lavrentiy Beria, Joseph Stalin's secret police chief. What a desperate attempt. One of many by these deep state soldiers like Bolton to smear Trump and anyone associated with him. To be clear, about who Beria was. He was a monster responsible for countless atrocities. And to even suggest that Kash Patel is in the same league as that criminal, that murdering criminal, well, it's utterly disgusting and reeks of desperation. These rhinos, these establishment, old school neocons, they know. They're hysterical. They know because they know their days are numbered. But for years, the FBI has overzealously targeted all conservatives. We know that for a fact. Christopher Wray, the current FBI director, has been at the helm. So let's not forget the FBI. This FBI under Wray was involved in 2 election interference issues. That Steele dossier hoax in 2016, which was unsuccessful in getting Hillary Clinton elected, all a hoax, all BS, we now know. And the Hunter Biden laptop issue, which every likely person in the world knows, likely helped Biden get elected in 2020. The simple fact is that the FBI has a severely, let's call it tarnished image in the eyes of the American people. Trump's proven that. It's also a simple fact that when you have no accountability and no transparency, you will inevitably find your way to corruption. At this point, the FBI cannot be trusted to clean up the issues from within the organization. The impetus has to come from the outside. Enter Kash Patel. Democrats need a come to Jesus moment when it comes to their lawfare and what they did to Donald Trump. And they need to recognize how important it is to clean up the FBI. Let's be clear. They're empowered to declassify and classify information and hide it from our enemies, yes, but they've taken advantage of that power for far too long, and they've resorted to using those powers to hide their own mistakes and wrongdoings. Classified didn't seem to matter, right? When Hillary Clinton broke the law, violating her job and committed treason against the United States as Secretary of State, every single American, regardless of party lines, should want accountability here. As if the McCarthy-style hearings in prime time weren't enough, this is a watershed moment in our country. What happened with Donald Trump and the Mar-a-Lago raid was one of the most egregious and dangerous moments in our democracy in recent history. The FBI doing the political bidding of Joe Biden and the ruling class party, Obama, Biden, right before a monumental midterm election. This is the kind of thing that happens in renegade third world countries, banana republics with no rules and no real laws. Who can forget when Peter Strzok, remember this story? Peter Strzok, the FBI agent, tried to take down Donald Trump in 2016. That embarrassment and his extramarital lover and fellow embarrassment, Lisa Page, they were texting each other. Lisa Page texted on August 8th, 2016, to Peter Strzok, her lover, about Trump, saying, quote, "Not ever going to be president, right?" And Strzok responded to Lisa Page within the FBI internal memos. No, he's not. We'll stop it. By the way, that's FBI officials talking about keeping an American citizen and a presidential candidate out of the White House. No big deal there for them, right? But the FBI isn't politically motivated, right, Joe? They propagated the Russia collusion hoax to hurt Trump. They helped Joe Biden's presidential campaign by burying Hunter Biden's illegal activities. They targeted any parent who disagreed with their policies about their children's health or curriculum. Democrats have had no issue with the politicization of the FBI because it worked in their favor. They were working for the Democrats. But shouldn't they want to protect the integrity of our federal agencies? FBI going to intimidate a nurse who blew the whistle about child sex change surgeries at a Texas hospital. Remember that? And the FBI terrorizing anyone who's anti their agenda. That ends now. But Jamie Raskin can't seem to find a single example of FBI or DOJ weaponization.
I haven't seen what the proof is that the FBI has been weaponized against a political party or the Department of Justice.
Oh, Jamie, no examples, not a one. I just named several. And by the way, folks, it's time for a reckoning.
We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice.
Well, the rules are changed now. America elected Donald Trump to tear down and rebuild this honest and efficient three-letter agencies, all of them, FBI, DOJ. They used to be good. They used to be on the side of the American people. They weren't political. It didn't matter if it was a Republican or Democrat in the White House or leading Congress, in the Senate or the House. It didn't matter who elected officials were. The FBI, the Department of Justice, the ATF, even the IRS forgot. By the way, can we do something right now? Can we just right now tell Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to start cleaning house, start eliminating jobs at the IRS, start there in government, start with the IRS, so son of a bitch, 80,000 new IRS agents under Joe Biden, I'd start right there. I'd drop 80 grand of them. Just go by. As my first act, IRS, you lost those 80,000 employees you just hired. Anyway, it doesn't align with our Constitution, serves the needs of the people. And anyone who clings to the old way of doing things, they either benefit from the corruption or stand to lose a lot in dismantling the corruption. And if they can't help themselves, they're going to position it the same way, because the lies have gone too far and too deep and now too wide. The leftist machine will try desperately to make the American people believe that somehow this is about Donald Trump rounding up political opponents. That's the farthest thing from the truth. This is not about a personal vendetta for Trump. It's about the personal vendetta at Trump. It's not so much more than that. And yet again, they're missing the entire point. The American people didn't just see what happened to President Trump. It's very important here. We watched the lawfare. We didn't just see what happened to President Trump, but as an attack on Trump, and not just an attack on the Republic. The American people saw it as something that could happen to any single one of us. When you come after people just because of their opinions, political beliefs, or convictions, even about your own children, that's no longer about upholding the rule of law or the Constitution. That's the stuff of totalitarian regimes. That means no matter what you do, even if you follow the law, you can still become a target for opposing them on a political side. That is dangerous territory. That's beyond constitutional. And that's what they are opposing when they run scared from fixing the problems. And it's not just the FBI, it's everywhere. The abuse of power, the corruption, it's like a virus on Capitol Hill. So you see, there are new rules now. Ukraine, guess what? You don't want to enter this peace talks with Russia? No more U.S. weapons deliveries for you. Oh, you want to back alternatives to the U.S. dollar, country X, Y, or Z? We'll slap 100% tariff on you. Oh, you broke the law and came into this country? We're going to deport your asses right now. Goodbye. With or without your family. Sorry. Oh, you want to ignore a federal order to deport those in this country illegally, particularly those who have committed crimes on our soil, Denver mayor? Well, that's called insurrection. That's illegal, and it's treason. Prison time for you, Denver mayor. That one's especially poignant. That's the left's rule. And let's not sugarcoat this. Screw the FBI and the banana republic they've perpetuated. This is a politicized agency. This is about course correction. The witch hunters are about to become the witch hunter. Okay, a little bit of an offbeat truth bomb, but listen, about 4 weeks ago, I started talking to you guys about betting. And I said I bet every team that plays the New York Giants and plays the New York Jets. Well, in the 4 weeks, I just want to point this out. We're 7-1. We won 7, lost only once. Yeah, as you know, massive football fan. Again, I'll say it again. Bet on the teams who are playing the Giants and the Jets. You're 9 wins, 1 loss since we've been talking about it. 9-1. Do it again this weekend. Jets are going to lose to Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. All righty, folks. Been talking to you about this for better part of 9 weeks. I think it's 9 weeks now. We started about 9 weeks ago, and I said I'm very much into betting NFL games. I told you about my picks. I like certain games, but I said for the last 3 years, and this year inclusive, 9 weeks ago and every week since, if you listen to the show right around Friday or Monday because of the Sunday games, I said bet on any team that plays the New York Giants or the New York Jets. You bet the team that's playing them against the spread, even with the spread. Well, over the last 9 weeks, there have been 16 games because each team had a bye. So 16 games, you're 15-1. You won 15 times, and the Jets covered only once. In those last 9 weeks, the Giants haven't covered. I'm just telling you, I can lead you to water. I can't make you drink. What the hell are you waiting for? Listen to me, friends. Have a great night. Monday, I'll see you tomorrow. Bolling out.